So, who else here is a fan of Bigfoot? Personally, I've got a real soft spot for Bigfoot's back catalogue, so I was really looking forward to this one. And even though the name might not suggest it, this is in fact a Bigfoot film. Let's have a look, shall we? Night of the Demon, not to be confused with Night of the Demon from the 50s that Arrow have re-released, is a 1980 American slasher Bigfoot film, directed by a fella called James Wasson, who, as far as I can see, hasn't done anything else. Now, this is another film that was on the infamous Video Nasties list in the 80s, so you know what that means? Cuts all over the bloody shop. Hooray.
Who wants to dance?
You promised to cook and scrub if we let you come.
We appreciate it. Got a nice little place here. Spent several days hiking just trying to find it.
The plot follows a professor of anthropology who, after reading some reports about killings deep in the woods, sets out with some students to try and track down Bigfoot. But the trip isn't made easy. There's deformed children, a weird hermit, and a cult after him. Oh yeah, and there's also Bigfoot knocking about too. This film is very up and down. There are some really fun scenes and some very entertaining moments in this, but these are all padded with very dull and boring bits that just kill any pace this film could have had.
Maybe he's still out there.
I know he's dead.
The acting isn't really worth mentioning here. Everyone's just sort of sleeping through it and they're really not trying at all. Maybe except for the dude who plays Wanda's father. I wanted to see more of him, he was funny. Now the Bigfoot, the star of the show, you know. The Bigfoot is pretty good. When you can see him, which is hardly ever, you can barely make out what he looks like. Just like the real Bigfoot. But when you do get a good look at him, it's a lot of fun. It's a well-made costume and it's the right amount of campy silliness. Then there's things like the camera work, the cinematography and the sets. Now these are all really hard to comment on. Mainly just because the print is so bad, but more on that later.
Yes, it's fantastic.
So come be my guide.
Are you serious?
Of course. Oh, if you do that, I'll jump you.
So of course, this is a cut down version of the film. From what I can gather, it's quite hard to get an uncut version. The bits that we're missing include a castration scene and an intestine removal scene. But don't worry, because we get an overly long Bigfoot rape scene. Because for some reason that's fine to leave in, but all those crappy effects, gotta remove them. The Bigfoot kills that we can kinda see involve him ragging some girls about, quietly removing a throat, and probably the best scene of the film is him picking up someone in a sleeping bag and just bashing them in.
I'm saving your soul, you ungrateful bitch. I'm saving you from burning in hell.
The print on this one is appalling. First of all the way through the film, there's this constant flickering bar, like I've got going off at the bottom here, all the way throughout. The film's grainy and flickery, the colours all bleed together, and it is far too dark. You cannot tell what the hell's going off for most of the film. This is definitely low-grade film stock, and then a VHS rip, but the VHS has been watched about 4,000 times before they transferred it. Awful. And on the disc, everything's back to normal. We get the incorrect logo at the beginning, the Vaults of Horrors one. We get the Claw trailer, and then all the special features are what we've come to expect. Although, they've only gone and bloody spelled filmography's wrong on this disc. That kinda reminds me of a different DVD company. My point right here. Dead enough. And I think it's time for the case. All the info on the back is correct, but it tells us far too much, going into nearly every plot point in the film and giving away the ending. But you know what is really terrible about this case? They spelt the director's name wrong. Twice. That's it. This is the closest to a Dead of Night release in the whole collection so far. Overall then, this is a tough film to recommend. I'd say only seek this out if you've got a soft spot for Bigfoot films like I do. If you don't, you're really not going to get much from this. Now, there are a few fun scenes scattered throughout, but not nearly enough for me to give this a recommendation. Also, I believe that this is the only version of this available in the UK, unless you're willing to import. I think there is another DVD version, but it's got awful reviews as well, saying that the print is just barely watchable. Probably exactly the same print as this, really. And I don't think there's an uncut version floating around in the UK. Which is a massive shame, really, because I wouldn't mind checking out a cleaned up and uncut version of this. Fuck the BBFC there. So, a mixed one this week. Let's hope that changes next week. I love the title of this next film. We're going to be checking out Zombie Creeping Flesh.